Hey guys, I'm Braden. Today we're looking at the Draco Centre Diff Set, and this is the first video in a multi-video series, okay? So this video will be focusing on an overview of the components in the set. Then we will install it into the Savage Flux HP chassis, and we'll go through some details and I'll give you some explanations along the way. Okay, so let's begin. Now this is the first component. It is the rear diff plate. It's a two-piece part. This is where the center diff will be installed once it's in the truck. I decided to go with this just to make it easier to get to the center diff if you're doing maintenance. That always bugged me about the trucks. So as you can see, it's machined from 6061. All of the aluminium parts are 6061. Just raw machined. All right, and the front, which is the same design, two-piece. This one has some lightening in it as well. Okay, and as you can see, the screws match the chassis, the TVP mounting points. Okay. All right, and then we have the ESC mount, which sits on top. So these are the stands on either side, and then the plate will mount to the threaded holes right there. This is the plate. This is laser cut 6061 aluminium. These are machined. Okay. I tried to use sheet metal bending for this, but they didn't come out so well, so I stuck with the machined ones. A little more expensive, but better result. Then we have the 52 spur. This is 4340 steel. It's quite heavy, and it's thicker than a lot of the stock ones. It's also hardened and in black oxide coated for corrosion resistance. We can also use the stock diff case with this spur gear. We then have these custom outdrives. As you can see, there's a lot of material between here and here, so the chance of them splitting is reduced. This is also 4340 steel, hardened as well, quite solid, quite stout. These can be used in the set as well as the stock shafts and cup joints from the center diff, but these are an upgrade because they will have the bearings that fit on here. Okay, as you can see, they go on here. Okay, and they will run in the center diff set like this. Yeah, but you will see that more when I build it. I will do a separate video on the center diff build. Okay, so they are all the components. Now there will be some screws included. All the screws you need to assemble it, including these two, and then the screws from the bottom, which will be M4 screws, and then you've got screws on the top for the plate. I'll show you when we get to that. So here is the Savage Flux HP. I've removed the motor and the ESC mount, so we just have the transmission case here just to show you. It's just hanging here, so just to save time. So what I'll do is I'll remove one TVP and then I'll take the transmission out. Okay, so 2mm hex, undo the screw. Okay, and then these ones here. So the diff plates allows you to use the stock radio box, so they can just stay there. And I'll just take this off. Here we go. TVP off, and then remove the screw. Just holding it in. Okay, so now that's out. right? So you have the stock cup joints here, which can still be used, like I said, with the shafts as well. Put that over there. Okay, so now it's all free, so I'm going to put this back in. Just like that. Okay. Put this in to hold it. Okay, so this is all free now, so you can install the Draco Centre Diff plates, the upper plates. Okay, so first I'm going to start with the rear. Okay, so these use the normal mounting points here and here, but to make it easier, because as you can see when it's in, it's a little hard to access things. So I'm going to install the motor before I put this in. So I'm going to sit on there. There will be 2 M4 by 10 cap screws included for your motor. Oh, don't drop it. And I'm going to mount the motor closer to the top, just to allow some space to move. Let me show you what I mean. See? Just closer to the top. Yeah. Okay. So that's just on there nice and firm. Now I'm going to put this in here, and we're going to have the 3 by 10 millimeter screws that go in the bottom here, just like with your stock transmission case, except they are M3, not the binding screw type. Screw that in firmly. Okay, then the other side. Ow. Just the hole right there. Here we go. Okay, just going to install that properly. Okay, so this will still allow you to use the stock handle. So what I'm going to do is put the handle on here temporarily. I'll put this in as well. Actually, I'm going to put this in and put in the 10 millimeter 3 by 10 millimeter screws once again. Here we go. Screw them in loosely. Okay. Tighten it up so it doesn't move. There we go. Right, then I will put the handle on, just like that. And we have the 3 by 25 millimeter flathead screws. Okay, so these are long, so you can accommodate the handle and then the ESC stands in the center. But when you use something like a 5SC, they are the TVPs are a little wider, so there will be less thread for the nuts to screw onto. So just keep that in mind. I chose these because it's a balance between all of the chassis thicknesses, including the FLM one. Yeah. So I'm going to put that in there. You just screw it through the top one until it comes through the other side. Yep. And then you do it again. This one. So you can see, hopefully, the screw coming through there. Yeah, goes through into the front upper plate there. Yeah. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same here. I'll screw that in until it comes through, because this is where the ESC mount is going to mount to. Okay, and then the other side, and the other one, where you can see that. There we go. All right. So you can do this multiple ways, but the way that I find easier is getting these screws through the plates, so when they come out the other side, it's just a little bit coming out. Right, so the ESC stands will mount here. So these are just right here, these holes are 3mm holes, not threaded, so the screws will just go through, and you can put the lock nut, or the nylon lock nut on the other side like this, but I'll show you. So I'm going to hold this here, make sure I find the screw. There's that click, there's another click. Okay, and then I will screw these through. They'll go through the ESC stand and protrude out the other side where the nut will be screwed on. Just like that. Here's one. Okay, and the other side. All right. So maybe you can see that right there. There are the screws protruding through there. Okay? All right. So now that's on there. This is where you put the nut on. And then you can screw it up however you like. Use another one. There we go. And if you can, I'd get the 5mm nut wrench in there. Do it up firm, not too tight. Doesn't have to be too tight. Do that up as well. Okay. So now the two nuts are on. Just like that. So you can see here and here. So now this is not going anywhere, right? As they say, not moving at all. All right. So you would do the same for the other side. So let me do that, and I can skip ahead, so you don't have to see me do this again. Okay, so that's in there, and this is another way you can put the nuts on. So they are flush here with the ESC stand. Put the nut there, and then screw this in. You may need to hold it with a wrench or with the pliers or something, so it doesn't spin. Then you can hold it and screw this in, and it's still pretty tight. Same again. Usually centers itself pretty well. Screw that in, and then hold it. Okay. So now both ESC stands are mounted. Here, the two nuts and the two nuts. So pretty solid. All right. So next is the ESC, the laser cut ESC plate. All right, and this would fit on top here. Move the wires out of the way, and there are 4 3x6 button head screws that will hold the plate to the stands. So this plate accepts up to a max 6 ESC. Not that really you would need one of those for this kind of vehicle, but just in case, some people like that. And also the Castle Creations Mamba Monster X, Mamba Monster X8S. Yeah, it's a mouthful. Like this, put that there. and then screw it down. So as you can see, you can still access while the handle's installed. Okay, so if you need to change your pinion, you would remove these 4 screws, take the plate off, and then change the pinion. Yeah. Alright, so that's how you assemble it basically. Next you would install the screws holding the radio box, this screw, all of these other screws, and next would be adjusting or installing the center diff. Right, so that's a little overview of the Draco Centre Diff Set plus installation into the Savage Flux HP chassis. Now this mount will fit into the few other ones, for example the Super 5SC, the Savage XL Flux, the pre-2017 model, and all the nitro versions as well. So you can use this set to convert your nitro to electric. Basically you just remove the transmission, the engine plate, the throttle, take the throttle servo out, and then just put in the Draco Centre Diff Set and you've converted it. Of course you will need the center diff case and the other components. Oh sorry, not just the inner spider gears, but I guess most Savage guys have spares of those lying around. So if you have one of these, plus the spider gears that go inside, plus the plates, the washer, O-ring, etc., screws, then you can do it. But I will go in more depth in the next video. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much for watching and see you in the next one.